Hi, this is for learning Portuguese. I'll uh, put the link to the video that I'm helping you learn uh, either in the comments or in the description of the video. Look for but probably both places. I'm going to do a few different versions of this. This version is just going to be me speaking the English, no explanations, so the person can read along uh, as they're listening to me saying what it means in English. Okay, so here we go. Okay, it starts. Please never stop traveling. Okay, about liberty and the concept of creating a culture of traveling, of how it is important to leave the nest and know other cultures and visions of the world. And the sun had not even been born when I entered the car. Sleepy, I was trying to understand what the motorist was saying in an English charged with um, accent. Several minutes climbing up after and arriving at our destination, a lookout in the heights of Pokhara, city in the interior of Nepal. Despite the dawn still dominating the points of the watch, points of the clock, the place was full. A small multitude had gathered there, people from various parts of the world, and that had conquered sleep in order to be witness to a unique moment, unforgettable. Everyone held their breath when the sun commenced to be born, lighting little by little the grandiosity of the Himalayas. And mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay, so this was check to see if my camera was still running. This was one of the most magical moments that I lived since placing a backpack on the back and starting to travel in 2009. It was in this year that I graduated, managed to get my first job, and passed the time gathering money all month, always with the objective to pull the backpack from the closet. Traveling is an opportunity to know postcards that we've already seen millions of times in photos, but up close with all the impact that this type of experience is capable of causing. It is an opportunity to rest, to have fun, and why not daydream, thinking of how it would be to live there and not here. thinking of the many different lives that we can have in every corner of the world. But the act of placing the backpack on the back and entering the world can be more. Start thinking about it. Okay. Okay, traveling is a chance to open for the world. Leaving the house and knowing a place relatively distant is to understand that the way, the form, how we see life and how we place ourselves on this planet is influenced by the way in which we grow and live. Understanding that everything is transitory, a passing moment in the continuous flux of events that is life. I perceive the size of the world after my first international trip to South Africa, accustomed to being us being a majority Christian culture. It surprised me with the multitude of Muslims that were in the streets of Cape Town, people that filled the mosques and corners of their faith. A year later, I added to the colors of the religious picture of the world in knowing Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, and many others. During a period of almost a year living and traveling in Asia. And forward. Okay. Gotta go a little farther here. Our truths fall to the ground such time that we begin to create new senses of what is true, of how the world operates or should operate. Hitting the street gives you the opportunity to learn to be more tolerant. Understanding the things that we believe profoundly as if they were absolute truths can not have any sense in the other side of the world. More, that the bigger part of the world can think of a different way than us. Traveling is an invitation to respect and understanding. In the words of Mark Twain, traveling can be fatal for prejudice and intolerance and limited ideas. Okay, for this to occur and for real, sure, it is needed that your own travel, one opens their own travel, that opens up their own traveling, accepting the differences and being ready to change. Seeing up close how other cultures can be so different and how our culture can be completely unknown in parts of the globe that there are. It says that gives us, this is saying there are, okay. And okay. So with our opening to understanding this tolerant comprehension that this whole matter, we're talking about all the above, is well more than we can judge with our old/vain philosophy. Okay. Then it says, from tolerance comes respect, and then further on, living together. Peacefully is implied there, that word. Okay. At the same time, in traveling, we perceive that we are not so different. They got seen in this way. Yeah, this still doesn't make much difference in the translation. Keep moving on here. Okay, so between 2011 and 2012, I passed 6 months in India, living and working in a Indian company. I live day to day there. Okay. So even if that world was completely different for me, causing a giant cultural shock every time that I place my feet uh, outside the house. Also, I perceive that for as much different that we are in general, a young resident of a grand Brazilian capital has desires, dreams, and fears quite similar with those of a resident of Mumbai or Peking. After everything's said and done, for the things that are really important, I and a young person from India have much in common. In traveling, that I perceived how prejudices can rise up, and I can fight against this. He's talking about his own prejudices pop up in his own mind, and he can fight against it. I noted how the world was immersed in um, a false narrative of a unique history. I mean, one history that covers everybody. Okay. A narrative that reinforces stereotypes and adds to fear. Um, I always thought that it was impossible to relate myself adequately with a place or person without relating myself with all the stories of that place or person. The consequence of a unique history is this: it robs people of their dignity. It makes the understanding and the recognizing of our shared humanity difficult. It emphasizes how we are different instead of how we are the same. And if before my trip to Mexico, I had attended the debates at both sides of the United States and Mexico, and if my mother had told us that the family of Fide was a poor and working one, and if we had a network, an African television network that transmitted diverse stories from Africa for the whole world, what the writer Chinua Achebe calls a balance of histories, a balance of histories. Okay. So one day I had to tell my family about my plans to spend 6 months in India. I was expecting a strong reaction, sure. After all, I was not dealing with a common destination, but nothing prepared me for the crying literal and the fear of people. They thought that I was not going to return. They thought that I had lost my judgment. They asked me even how I was going to use the bathroom, since they all said they don't even have uh, toilets there. I saw it on TV, they exclaimed. They explained, sorry. Okay, they said that I would have to get accustomed to eating with the hands because since it would be impossible to find silverware. I heard so much of this that I even took a set of knife. Excuse me. Garfo is a spoon. Yeah, Garfo's a fork. Foss is a knife, and spoon. Collier. Okay, fork, knife, spoon. Okay. Jicasa from the house. Okay, something totally useless after every house and restaurant in India that I was in had silverware. Okay, more than jokes, the cultural stereotypes, create fear and impede that many people leave the house for fear of confronting the unknown, for fear of confronting the different. Okay, but as says Mia Koto, there is in this world more fear of things compared to things appropriately defined. Okay, traveling shows you that the world is more secure than people think, and there are more people ready to help you than people wishing to do you bad. But then, if I don't want to stop traveling, okay. So to do the suitcases, pack up and face the new for the first time, I perceived that I did not want just to travel, but to live in the street. I did not wish just to know other cultures, but I wanted to be part of each sphere of the world. That I did not wish only to tread in other lands, but I wanted to feel part of all the places. Even if to be part of all meant not being part of anything for much time, and that the life of traveling follows out in front. Okay, always in search of new destinations, new places, new people. It's not important how much I love to get to know a city and said that I was going to return later. The world is too big, there's too many corners of it, and there is always another incredible place to get to know before you get around to um, go turn around the globe and return to a place that mixes well with you. Okay. Keep searching for new places, no matter how much you love the first 50 you went to. Okay. Let me see here. Play a little further forward here. Okay. Perhaps this would be the bigger worry of who loves to travel, or the biggest worry. Okay. Life appears to be short for all the places, all the interesting places. It would need 2, 3, 4 lifetimes, incarnations, they say, to complete that checklist of travel that you have written, a list that never stops to grow. And as occurs with all the world, still it is needed to work. Conquer the expedient. That means win the day. Do what you can today. Pay bills, live day to day, and daydream about the best month of the year, the month of vacation, the month in which permits you to pull the list from the drawer and cut off one more item of your traveling objectives. Okay. Qual saída, então? That means what's your point? Where you going here? Where are you going with this? Simple. Never stop traveling. Nunca. Okay, it is possible to create a culture, a style of life, more traveling. And not just when we are on vacation. To have 30 entire days to hit the streets is lovely, but sure, sure. But why not get to know a city close by on the end of the week, on the weekend? Okay. Why not take advantage of a holiday to visit a city close to you? It's not important where you live. It's probable that there exists a big city a few hours of travel from you. Go. Traveling does not need to be expensive. It does not need to follow a formula. It does not need even to be for long. You can travel to a city close by, and even in your own city. Okay. How many places? How many nice places there are close by, per Puerto? Places that tourists of the world, the entire world, like to get to know, but you haven't visited yet. You've not gone to visit. Didn't go visit yet. Okay. I got a cheat sheet of a few of these phrases over there. I haven't looked at it yet, but first time. Okay. Okay, playing a little further forward here. Okay. 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 And in an hour that you are in the house on a rainy day in the middle of the week, still in this way it is possible to travel. Okay. Da para viajar means there are gives for traveling by books. They use give a lot for there is, okay. By films, by series, and even planning the next trips. It is possible to plunge in other cultures in a constant form, even when you cannot leave the house. Traveling is a chance to know the world and at the same time know yourself at the same time. Okay. Who guarantees this is not I, but Gandalf in The Hobbit. At the end of things, the works of Tolkien can speak of dragons, elves, and dwarves, and fears unnameable. But at the bottom of everything, the central theme is the same, that you gain when you leave the den and face an adventure. Okay, it is this that shows the dialogue below between the magician Gandalf and Bilbo. Okay. Okay, Gandalf says, okay, I'm looking for somebody to participate in an adventure that I'm organizing. And it is quite difficult to find someone, Bilbo says. Yeah, I think that yes, still more for these parts. We are a simple people and snug. And I don't like adventures. They are disagreeable and uncomfortable. Um, Doing as you do, one is late for supper. Okay, which hobbits, they don't like to miss meals. Okay, okay. Okay, I cannot manage to imagine what people see in these adventures. Okay, Gandalf says, okay, you are going to have a story or two to tell when you return. Bilbo says, you can promise me that I will return? Gandalf says, no. And if you return, you will not be the same. Okay, believe it. Um, when you leave the house and place your feet on the street, it's impossible to know how you are going to return. And it's quite probable that you'll return a different person, another person, uh, somebody different from which that accepted to face the world. It happened with me. And that's it. Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.